Hello, my name is Dax Soul. I'm a professor here at the School of Earth and Environmental Sciences, and I'm here to welcome you to Queens College. We're delighted to have you here, and we're really excited to get to know you as we move through your educational process. By profession, I'm a marine geophysicist, which means that I spend my time out on the oceans, and I make big explosions and do things like try to figure out how volcanoes work on the seafloor. But that's not really what I'm here to talk to you about today. What I'm here to talk to you about are the liberal arts and your choice to attend a liberal arts education and what that looks like. So let's start with a question. What are the liberal arts? Has anybody given any thought to that? Are the liberal arts where we bring you into college and turn you into liberals? Is that what we're here to do? No, it's not about that at all, right? The liberal arts goes all the way back to the ancient Greeks. Right? It's essentially what they thought it took for somebody to be a full participating member of society, right? So when we think about the topics of the liberal arts, there's some of them that pop right out and are easy, right? We think about poetry. Is that the liberal arts? Most people would say yes. Literature, drama, all of these qualify. But what about mathematics? Is that the liberal arts? Absolutely. Physics, the liberal arts. What about earth science? Definitely part of the liberal arts, right? The bottom line is the liberal arts encompass a very broad set of topics, right? So I want to tell you a little story about myself, and then I'm going to ask you to do three really important things while you're here at Queens College, right? Because I was once, I know I look awful old, but I was once not very far from where you are right now. I was sitting in a room and I was planning out my future. Right? And I had ideas about what it is that I wanted to do, right? But the first time I went to school, it didn't work out for me. I ended up having to withdraw from school, and I worked for quite a while. And when I returned to college, the very first class I ever took was Shakespeare 212. We learned about Macbeth and King Lear and Hamlet, to be or not to be, The Merchant of Venice. But they just happened to teach that class in the geology building. And so while we were talking about those amazing plays, what I was really doing was dreaming about the posters on the wall, the pictures and people of far off places doing what I thought to be just amazing things, right? Since that class, I've been literally to the ends of the earth, and I've led scientific expeditions as far away as Antarctica. So I want to encourage you that if you're in a class and you start to find something that really drives your curiosity, to explore it, right? So here are the big key things that you need to do while you're at Queens College. The big thing number one, and I want you to write this down. All right, has everybody got a pencil? Yeah? All right, write this down. You need to show up. All right? You're paying for an education and you need to show up. You need to show up for the classes. You need to show up for the office hours. You need to get the education that you're paying for. If you don't understand it yet and you're not being successful, then our work isn't done. And you need to make sure that you hold people accountable to that. Right? Big thing number two, right? You need to be fearless. You need to do things that make you uncomfortable and scare you and test your limits. Right? We live on a planet of 7.6 billion people. And what we really desperately need, are people who can do hard things. And if you'll spend your time at Queens College demonstrating that you have the ability to do very difficult things, your place in our economy is so much more secure than almost any other path you can choose. People who do hard things are always in demand. The last one, this is very important, so write it down too. While you're here at Queens College, I want you to follow your nose. It always knows. If you find yourself exploring a topic and starting to daydream about it, explore that topic more. Because I can tell you where your spectacular lies. Right? If you want to know what it is that you can be spectacular at, I can tell you to find it on the backs of your eyelids. Right? It's the things that you daydream about. It's the things that you think about when your mind is relaxed. Those are the things that you have the ability to be obsessive enough about to really be spectacular, right? Okay. So one other thing that I want to discuss with you while I've got your attention is that in the liberal arts, one of the things we desperately need people to understand is how our planet works. So I want you to consider classes that are in the earth sciences. You live in a coastal city in an era of sea level rise. It means that every single piece of infrastructure you've ever seen, subways, buildings, roads, bridges, were all designed for last century sea levels. And if you can just imagine how much money got spent in the wake of Superstorm Sandy, think about what the next 50 years is going to bring us. All right. So the first type of class we'd like you to consider are geology classes. When we think about geology, we think about touching rocks, right? Well, geology is much more broad than that. It's volcanoes, it's earthquakes, it's tsunamis, it's black smokers, it's time travel. So take a pencil and write down these classes. First is Geology 101. It's physical geology. This is the class that I teach in the fall. And it's essentially all the big topics that are associated with getting to understand how our Earth operates. It's plate tectonics, it's how rocks are formed, it's minerals, it's sediments, it's also things like how mid-ocean ridges work. Geology 9 is environmental issues. It's essentially focused on the energy that we use in our environments, where it comes from, how it is created, and what we do with it. Geology 12 is natural hazards, so volcanoes and tsunamis and earthquakes. Geology 77 is climate change. This is essentially the most important topic of our generation. Environmental science classes are a little bit different than geology courses, in that they are specifically focused on how you interact with the environment that's around you. Right? It's also climate change. It's air pollution. It's it's the air you breathe, the water you drink, where your food comes from, where your trash goes. Population growth. It's where toxins are a big problem in New York City, and it's where you should let your children play. But the bottom line is there are two great options, and they're there to help you discover the world that's around you. Whatever you choose to do, if I don't see you in this coming term, I hope I do see you while you're here at Queens College. The Earth and Environmental Sciences offers a lot of career opportunities. If you just think back to Superstorm Sandy and recognize exactly zero of the buildings and infrastructure that you can see were built with our next century's sea levels in mind, and then think forward to the amazing economic opportunities that exist in the next 50 years for people who can help us solve those problems. Whatever you choose to do, please know that you are welcome here at Queens College. We are so happy that you're here. And hopefully, as you chart your path to your future, we can help you find those spectacular things about yourself that allow you to thrive. Welcome to Queens College. That's all I've got for today.